Soundstripe.
Welcome to South End Supporters, a St. Louis City SC podcast powered by Ready to Live Wellness and coming at you from the Warrior Logo Wear studio. David Heck alongside Eric Cole and the Monday morning center back Dave Wyckoff. Gents, the three of us back again. So exciting. It feels like it's been forever since the three of us been on a show together, and we get to do it talking about a St. Louis City W, supporting the hottest team in the MLS right now. Go City. Woo! Eric, Dave, how are we this evening, gents?
Yeah, it feels woo is exactly right. I mean, we haven't wooed in 11 weeks.
A lot of woo. It feels good to woo. Dave, woo for us a little bit here.
Woo!
There we go. It's three woos.
Yeah. Can't get a Ric Flair in here. I don't want to blow the ears out. But Eric, you can add this one now. The victory pony. It was 3 points and a pony, like always. We had a pony
There we
out.
go.
Yeah, no, it was awesome,
for the 5 people that watch our
follow
YouTube,
along on
you can see
YouTube.
that one.
There are 30. I did, not to get too deep into the game day experience, but we got to spend a lot of time with some of the No Goal Patrol folks and got to meet Fetlord Colton and his nephew, which was awesome. But we did all have a laugh, a self-deprecating laugh at the YouTube and how legitimately no one watches YouTube. Like no one our age watches the YouTube. So that's all for us.
Yeah, I do watch you. Am I alone? Like I watch YouTube. I don't
I think
know.
you may be.
Yeah,
No,
I find it.
I watch YouTube too. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave's a little older than the two of us. You know, to be honest, Eric.
Yeah.
I just think like a mentally, emotionally,
More mature.
perhaps more mature. I think that's
Yeah.
probably it. Even
Yeah.
though calendar-wise, I'm a little bit older than you.
Yeah.
But you know, I try and stay young and hip, and we've talked about this before. It was a 2-1 win by City. I was not there. I was out at. I've not been to very many games this year. It's driving me.
It hasn't
crazy,
gone
but-
unnoticed, by the way, by the fans in the South End.
Oh, I'm
I'll just
sure.
throw that out there.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it hasn't. One of these days I'm going to be able to get to. We have 3 more softball tournaments the rest of the season. We're out of town next weekend, and then coincidentally City is out of town as well, so I won't miss that one. Then we're back, but I don't know what our schedule will be like the following week, and then we're gone in Kansas City to round out the year, and that will be at the very end of June. So once July gets here, we're done with it. And then I can go to some games again. I might be able to make another one in June. I don't know. I don't know what my schedule looks like week in and week out, Eric. It's just the way that it goes. But regardless, had to miss this one. It didn't look like a great crowd. I'm curious. The weather was amazing. The product on the field looked really good, too. I watched a lot of this on my phone from the field, actually. During in between games, we had a break, so I was able to see some of this. But curious, I know the game day experience sounded fantastic for the two of you. I'd love to hear about it, and then, of course, get into the game itself a bit.
Yeah, day games, they kick ass. They set themselves up to be awesome, particularly with that 1:30 kickoff. Got to head down to Russell's on Macklin for some brunch. Had an awesome. Everything was good. Everything
Was that a
good.
brunch? Was that a brunch recommendation by the?
That was not one of them. That was on the Offensive 13. She had already been there once with one of her friends, so we went there again. But it was great, man. The breakfast burrito with the white cheddar and the eggs and the pork shoulder, which they're on swine, so you may not have gone that route. Maybe get some. I bet they would have subbed chicken in there for you.
I smoked the pork last week.
Oh wow!
Smoked the pork shoulder.
Pig's a filthy animal too.
And I ate some of it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, how about that? And then some peños, which I had to clarify to our partner Eric what peños were, which is fine.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Like when I read it, I really literally read it as Panos, and I was just like, in my mind, I was looking at the picture and I was like, maybe it's a Spanish potato. I don't know. I just kept thinking it was a Spanish potato. There was like a
That's
chunk
good.
of white in the picture that you sent, and so I'm like, that's probably the Pano. Okay.
No,
and
that
then
was-
once
it
you
was
said
really
it, I was
good.
like,
Eric pronounces it
I-
jalapeno. So
That's fine. Listen, I don't care how you pronounce it. I just care how it tastes, and it was great. You guys would have both loved it. It was a great spot. They were having the celebration of life for the late Brian McKenna down there.
yes.
That was down. He lived near that neighborhood. Unfortunately, passed away near that neighborhood. But they had a huge street party going on. Somebody pulled up with a flatbed trailer full of 5-gallon margarita buckets. So it wouldn't have been a terrible idea to stay down there and just party hardy. But we had 3 points to earn. We ran into our Thursday night keeper, Sammy, and his wife down there. And then we ran into him again after the game. So that was fun. And then when we got to the park, went north of the park and hung out with KVK, and Fando Beth was there. Amy Murr was there. Like I said, Fetlord Colton and his nephew. Chris Hoegemeyer was there, the one that I pronounced his name Chogemeyer last week. His name is actually Chris Hoegemeyer.
You've used 3 different vowel sounds, by the way, trying to pronounce this last name.
I just know that he has a first name. That's great. And then ran into a couple people. Ran into our buddy Jack, who's one of the founders. Ran into some Granite Cityans, Brittany and Phil Reeder. It was great. And then got in the park. And man, by the way, I'm taking this whole segment over. Let me let Eric take over where he came in, because he came and met us north of the park. So Eric, please, your game day experience from the time that you got there. Go.
Yeah, I got there. Man, what did we were about an hour before gates, or we got there about when gates would open, and then we hung out there for maybe an hour or so. Pulled the classic run to the gas station and get the 2 tall boys for $5 rather than paying for the and so went that route. And then we hung out at the I've never been to one of those pre-match block parties with all the supporter groups or anything like that, so that was pretty cool. I was actually more nervous hanging out there longer this time, because since I knew I was going to alone, and we knew people that were coming into the game, like Fetlord and his nephew and all those, I went and got a supporter section ticket. And so this was also kind of a little nerve-wracking, just because I always hear, like, if you're in the supporter section, you kind of got to get in right at gates entry and hold down your spot and everything like that. But shout out KVK and all the No Goal Patrol for allowing me to kind of fit in where I get in. And so I got to come down and hang out as far as first half goes. I was like the first row right next to one of the Capo stands on the far.
Made the Instagram.
Yeah, I don't. Shout out to STL City Red for the picture. A couple people sent it to me, and it's just, we always joke about, like, it'd be so cool to have the South End get some love. And of course, I finally make a picture, and I'm all excited. I'm like, when I'm not even in the South End or anything like that. So
that would be an awesome picture to put up there next to Jerry, like you in that pose. Like that's a pretty cool picture, man. Like I don't even care if it's vain to have a picture of yourself up there, but in your red kit, the tat looked good. You were full like chant.
A lot of passion in that photo.
I would put that picture right here, right under Team Flats.
We should all put it behind us.
Well, there's a great chance that since I sent it, because my mom asked how the game was and everything, so I was like, I even got lucky and got a picture. So there's a great chance she'll have it framed by next week anyway, because she's the one who actually, she's the one who got me Jerry the draft. But yeah, it was cool. Honestly, what we need to do is get the Monday Morning center back down and get a picture like that, because David has still one of my favorite pictures of all time. Is the one time that you went down in the front row with your kids, and all 3 of you got one of those like passion yelling pictures, and Cameron sitting there with chain hanging out and all that.
I think they took it because I was there, and then the kids happened to be in the photo. Is probably how that went down. So
yes, most likely.
I think that is what he said.
But yeah, like Eric said, we met up with a couple of our friends, the Zarings, went into the park around an hour. Went up to the Fattened Calf because I promised Jay Clem that this was going to be the week that we tried the Tocino pork belly skewers, only to find out that not only do they have those up there, but they have a trio of skewers with the pork belly, and then just barbecued pork was the second one, and then some kind of Filipino sausage, spicy sausage on a bed of like chips. Oh my goodness, David Joel. It was so good. It was one of my favorite things. I feel like I say this after every meal I have there, every new meal I have there.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite things I've had.
See, I'm confused. I'm confused because calf, does that not imply that this would feature a lot of beef?
Yeah, there was no beef.
But it's a lot of pork dishes you just laid out.
I mean, I've had pork and chicken from there.
I think their logo even is a pig on it, I think. Now that you say that, it's like, yeah, they might want to rebrand a little bit there. Like
Whatever they're
fatten-
doing in the kitchen is working. I saw something today that was a tocino breakfast sandwich that looked like, yeah, I would kill for that thing. But
This is going to be a stupid question. People are going to murder me for this, but do they call like are pigs calves? Am I
I
missing
wouldn't
that?
think so. But
Oh man, I've been watching Clarkson Farm, so I should know this.
Are they piglets?
No,
They
they're
feel
not.
like they're piglets. So they're not
piglets.
piglets.
Piglets. Yeah. No, it's just piglets. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, I got to look
calf
into
is-
this name then. I got to see
I
this
think-
menu. I
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
workshop this a little bit.
Because I think calves are like elephants. I think giraffes, I believe as well, and then yeah, mainly like
Yeah.
cows and stuff like that. So yeah, that's
but
you're
game
right.
day
But, yeah,
experience.
I was watching you
Yeah.
eat that, and
It was so good. It
all the
was-
sauce and everything on it looked phenomenal.
yeah, it
You
was.
didn't
great.
offer him a bite, Dave?
I did. Nobody wanted any. I offered it to
To be
everybody.
fair-
It was delicious.
To be fair, the smile on your face, I would have felt guilty taking a bite. Away from that. You
Z
looked like
Z
it
got
felt-
the same thing, and he echoed the sentiment. It was strong. I want to, I thought the crowd was great, man. I thought the crowd was great from the jump. There might not have been as many people there, like it was a sellout, but it was loud from the jump. The electricity, man. Like we didn't touch on, the obvious because we put our episode out on Tuesday, our first one, and then Tuesday night Olaf gets fired and David Critchley's the new coach. I mean, we didn't even really get to respond to that, but God, there was just a palpable like energy and electricity. And every time he came in front of the microphone and spoke during the week, it was like, all right, give me another brick wall. I'm going to run through it. Yes, press. Yes, back four. Yes, healthy guys on the side. And that, I felt like that was brought into the stadium with the energy. I thought it was great. And then the play was great. It was fun again. It was fun to watch this team again. And, they were doing things differently and positively. And it was just, I can't talk about how great the day was enough, man. It was spectacular. One of my most fun sporting events, one of my fun sporting days I've had in a long, long time.
Well, nothing screams award-winning soccer podcast like a new head coach, and then the day after we release a podcast, Dave, where you and I talk about Bill Withers for 15 minutes.
That was a popular Seggy. I got
sure
good
it was.
reviews on it.
I'm sure it was. I think the crowd sounded good. I noticed that as well. I just noticed a lot of empty seats, especially in the supporters group, the supporter section. I thought the supporter section looked relatively
Eric was there.
sparse.
Eric, was it full was it full by the time things got going, or was it kind of a LA
I noticed it at the
Dodgers-like crowd?
65-minute mark. It looked, relatively speaking, less than full.
Yeah, I didn't really notice as much like the empty seats feeling until rewatching it back, and then I was even kind of surprised, like, oh man, there were a lot more empty seats than I thought, because kind of to echo what Dave said, like just from the block party that we went to pregame, there was a different sort of energy that you felt, and I know, like he echoed, like I was seeing it all across the socials throughout the week. Everybody just sharing clips of what Critch was saying in these like these pressers, where people were just like, he's saying the right things, and just the sort of different sort of mentality. Like he didn't come in really with a big smile on his face, like joking around, just happy to be there. He was like, almost had this feeling of like, I'm here to take this job. Like I'm coming to, and we're going to play exciting again. And he was saying the things that I think a lot of fans have been echoing, like we're going to get back to X, Y, Z, and Nate put in here. And then, so I was also feeling this like buzz from like excitement of like people in the block party, and then just hearing them talk. But the biggest thing is once that starting 11 came out and you just saw like almost like a night and day difference. The biggest thing I think glaring was one center back in the starting 11, and you go from like 5 or 6 to 1. And then you're just seeing a lot more youth and a lot more speed and a lot more pace and all those players that we've kind of talked about over the weeks of like, you just want to see the best, most exciting 11 play and adjust from there. So once that starting 11 come out, the cool thing is when you do go to that block party is like everybody's kind of checking at the same time. They all know, when those lineups are coming out, and you just saw everybody kind of like, ooh, like that sort of excitement. And then straight from kickoff, like, the energy felt there. So to me, I wouldn't have known that it wasn't a sellout until rewatching the game back. And to your point, David, like that's when I was watching it going, man, that East Side was a lot more open than I thought. Like it's so that was surprising, but thankfully the energy, there was no unmatched. Like it was there for the players for sure.
Well, the product on the field was really good, I thought. Again, I don't know soccer very well at all, but I do know what I was watching. Obviously, the result was great, a 2-1 win. City stays in 14th place, but picking up 3 huge points against a team that scores a lot of goals. And to be able to hold San Jose to 1 is a victory in itself, but then to be able to come ahead there late in stoppage time in the second half on the PK had to just be an amazing experience. And I would imagine at that point the crowd was fairly well lubricated and probably really, really loud when Betcher went down in the box. But you're right. To be honest, it just seemed faster. It seemed like they were able to catch up to more long balls when they played them. The crosses seemed to be more accurate. They moved the ball better. Looking at Klaus's goal, the way he was able to just kind of stay with it off his own header. I don't know what the keeper was doing for San Jose, not coming out and trying to defend that. But you'll take the result. But everything just looked better pace-wise. I think that's the one thing that I would, as the casual observer, notice is that the team just seemed to be operating in a different gear than what we've seen recently.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, what I loved about it is like just from especially the first half was everything that Chris said in that presser was happening. Like he wanted to look better and more comfortable on the ball. So insert Durkin as a center back to have, Baumgartel and probably 2 of our best on the ball, like as far as if you're going to consider Durkin a center back at this point. And then those ones that are struggling with it, the Heberts, the Yaros, the Watts, they're back to the bench. Like he wanted to hold that possession. And then, man, having Leuven back straight from the starting lineup really was a big boost, especially down the center of the park. So then you just have this comfort coming out from the back. I think the whole point with Reed and Zielinski was I want you pressing high and I want you keeping – it just looked like San Jose is a very counterattacking team, and we were like, we're going to beat you to that game and make you adjust, and then we'll adjust as well. And I think he had Reed and Zielinski as that speed, to your point, David, in getting back and recovering when San Jose did press. And then the other thing that just really I was really happy to see, and to your point, this is where the first goal comes from, is there were about 3 or 4 times where there was no reason Klaus should have came out of the 50-50 or even 2-on-1 with the ball, and he did. There was just like a different effort from the players that I saw today. And what really echoed that and solidified that for me is if you guys watch the game, the second that final whistle goes, they cut the camera to Critch, and all the players are just jumping and so excited to be around him. That's where the energy really felt different for me on the field. Is it almost looked like he just went out there and was like, I want you to play your style. I want you to play what you guys are best at. And then that's what I felt like we saw on the field.
Yep. Eric, you know where I think it manifested itself a lot, and this is something that we talked about, the physicality in defense. I saw a half a dozen times in the first half where the press was on and the defender went to challenge the ball and the offensive player made a little cut to shield the ball and the defender just ran right through him. And that was what we talked about a couple weeks ago that had been missing from that press. Like, you don't have to win the ball every time. Sometimes they just need to feel that you're there and to know that if they are going to make a mistake, you're going to punish them. I also, you could not, one of the most, like, besides the speed of the wingbacks, which, God, thank you so much that Jay Reed was finally in the game. Like, he didn't play the cleanest game by any means. He's still a little rusty, but that kid has so much speed. He's so dangerous down that left side. Putting him with Celio on the same side is almost unfair to a right side defender, like to have to make that decision. I don't think Celio played a great game. I think he kind of laid back on his heels a little bit, but I think that partnership, if that's that left side going forward, that's going to be a big problem for opposing defenses. I thought Leuven, Hartle, and Wallum were incredible through the middle. I thought one of the most eye-popping parts of that game was how hard they worked to interchange positions through the midfield and how quickly and confidently they moved the ball between the 3 of them. And it was never Leuven just at the 6 or Hartle just at the 6 or Wallum. It was just constant exchanging. And Baumgartel and Kessler looking for them, using them, 1-2s in and out of the middle, opening up those long balls. It was there. there was a concerted effort to progress the ball up the field under possession. Now, they made some mistakes, and San Jose had some counters that they got chances off of, especially down that left side. I couldn't tell you what that left side, but what was the forward's name on the left side, Eric? The really fast one on the left side.
Man. Yeah, he had quite a few chances throughout the game.
Man, he was Zelensky was giving him everything he could handle. But what I noticed is they made the adjustments and they dealt with that left side for the most part. And they got back and stopped some of those counters. And Berkey made the saves that he had to make, but it wasn't like it was, he didn't have to make any like eye-popping like, oh, that was a, .6 XG save. He made he had a really good tip over. He had a good save on that ball that took a weird bounce. And then up top, it was just the drive and the hunger to get to the goal was there. Especially in the first half, it was so refreshing, really strong. And hey, first five, last five, next five. When did they score? Stoppage time, first half. Like I'll echo what DH said. Like there's no reason that goalie should not come out and get that ball. I still watched that replay a dozen times and can't figure out what he's watching. But
Dave, you got to be disappointed in Zoe's team if the keeper doesn't come out and make that play.
It was a strange. I don't understand what he was looking at, or if he just didn't pick up the fly to the ball. There's just no telling. But man, credit to Klaus because that's not an easy ball to finish. That little half volley, keeping that ball down with the goalie coming out at you. Now the goalie also jumped up for some reason instead of spreading out and trying to save that ball. But listen. Beggars can't be choosers. He finished the goal. He made it happen basically by himself. 1-0 going and a half. Can't ask for any more than that.
Well, it's not an easy ball to win in the first place, and then to be able to stay with it. Take the goalie out of it. Like, he misplayed it for sure, and maybe the result wouldn't have been the same had he played it right. But to be able to win it, to be able to stay with it, to be able to volley it to yourself and then score, that is an effort that, A, probably wasn't there 2 weeks ago. And B, certainly not a goal 2 weeks ago. Like, it just didn't feel the same. We had a few chances, and it just seemed like we never were able to find the back of the net, and then all of a sudden it all kind of clicks together. So I felt like watching it, and I saw it live. This is an opportunity where I was actually watching it. I mean, I was stoked. That crowd, again, 22-5 or not, it had to have just exploded when that goal took place at that point. I hope not too many people had gone to the bathroom and concessions at this point. There was still enough in there to make a lot of noise during that goal.
No, it was loud, and I think it was also like this like subdued loud at first because I think we're even live in stadium. We were all like, how does he get onto that? And once you guys said it, it kind of does make sense a little bit since you guys said it. My only thought is maybe with the sun being bright that day and it was coming in towards the north end, maybe with Klaus's header, it goes up in the air. He can't, like a fly ball in baseball, you're having trouble adjusting to that. Maybe he thought it was way shorter than it was because I know him and the center back were both like, you got it.
Yeah.
But to Dave's point, it was just like to take it like that, like that's a way more difficult than he made it look. But I just felt like the players really, I mean, if you look at that starting 11, you could tell that he's been watching these guys, which he has for a while. But to me, that starting 11 shows that I believe in you guys. To give Zelensky his first start, on the wing at that, to throw center back, Durkin back in center back, and like just the go back to a 4-2-3-1 or whatever he did decide to run, it just felt like he definitely had the faith of the players in that first half, especially. I felt like Dave said, it wasn't a perfect game from a lot of players, but where lapses happened, other guys were there to pick it up, and that's where I almost thought the combination of Durkin and Baumgartel really worked. Was there was one play I remember where Baumgartel just gets they're going for a counterattack, and Baumgartel just gets speed on speed, and then out of nowhere, Durkin does this recovery tackle for the ball to go out. It's like Baumgartel's so great in understanding the space and the experience that he knew that he could run that, and then Durkin will be there to like almost back him up in that instance. So
yeah,
it just felt like I don't know. It felt like what we've all, I don't know if he's almost been just reading the socials and been like, well, these are what everybody seems to be asking for. Let's just go throw this out there. I don't know. It's almost
like they've rediscovered some faith in their own ability. Like all of them did. You know what I mean? Like they weren't playing scared. And I'll just go ahead and say it. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you took out 3 players that have played a lot of minutes with this team. And again, we're criticizing the play, not the players. But Akil Watts, Kyle Hebert, and Josh Yaro are not comfortable on the ball. And if you're playing with 3 players on your team that are not comfortable possessing the ball, and they won't play you the ball when you make those runs, or they're not capable of playing you the ball when you make those runs, and then you have defensive lapses, it's really easy to play tense. And I think getting back to that free-flowing, creative, joyous play that you've been talking about wanting them to get back to during this whole bad run, and maybe it's just a blip, but to me it looked like a team with some freedom, like a team that wasn't afraid to make mistakes. Now, they were a little bit laissez-faire, especially in the second half. When Zonde came on for Teutsch and had 3 or 4 opportunities where all he's got to do is put the ball on net, and he got a little too fast for his own feet. I think our buddy, was that you or was that Zering that was talking about how he's too fast for his own feet? I think it was Zering.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And he wasn't wrong. Like, he was kind of overrunning himself. But God, yeah, they looked confident. They really did. And then I thought Critch made some really good tactical subs. Bringing on Kessler for Durkin, I thought was a huge move. And then bringing on Tots for Reed and put Tots on the left side was really an interesting temporary move. But I guess they made it knowing that they were going to eventually put Tots back on the right side and drop Wallem into that back left spot. Versatility, man. That kid's got a lot of versatility. What's that, like the 5th position he's played this year?
And boy, I want to talk about, like, we were talking about like atmosphere and stuff. I almost wasn't expecting it, but was glad that he got that. The pop that Totland got when he came back on the field was like, man, you could tell like these guys have been like the fans have really been appreciating the work that he's done and everything like that. But like, I remember when he came on, like seeing him come on, it was kind of like, whoa, okay, there we go. Like, good for Tots. Because, what the second half was when I went and joined you guys up in the 204 section, which was really cool because I haven't been in an upper, deck situation.
Tell the people about your perspective on the perspective of being up in the up, because you've been North End, you've been South End, you've been West Side, and now you've been East Side. And tell the people about that perspective.
I haven't been West Side because, as our friend Brittany, or as David refers, the lady who sits behind us, that's for the
drunk lady that sits behind us.
The drunk lady. Oh, there it is. That's what it was.
She was the same.
So the cool thing about both ends is, so like where our seats are, you truly get a true appreciation for like the speed, I would say, of the game, and just the skill that those players have when you're sitting down that low. When you're in the North End, I would say you almost get a better appreciation for the atmosphere that the stadium brings. Because there are some times where, like, the Capo stand was blocking my view on, like I couldn't even see Hartle wind up for that bike kick because he was behind the Capo stand. So, like, there's a few things that you do, sacrifice when you are in the North End, depending on where you sit. Again, I was lower, just, again, where I was sitting. But, like, so I feel like if you want to really take in the atmosphere that City Park offers, but I would say if you want to take in, like, if you're trying to almost teach, like, what it's perfect for, like, you and your daughter, if you're trying to almost learn the game or teach the game or just see plays develop, see those runs that you've been talking about, like, I almost felt like it was way better than watching it on TV, because you're right there, you get that vantage point of a TV, but it's from your angle, like, I could fully. Like, there were times where both you and I were, like, saying, like, he's back. Like, it was fun getting to see full plays develop rather than just, like, see, like, the real fine stuff that we see on either end. So it was really, honestly, fun to be up there and experience that for the first time, because I haven't even been out on the seats to see the field. So, like, right when I walked out, it was nice. It was cool. I think
the TV,
it's a nice bounce back.
The broadcast focus on the ball so much, and they pan in on the ball so much that, like you said, you don't see the backside runs developing, and you don't see plays open up. You don't see, the middle just open up for somebody to take off until the camera kind of pans out and you can see how much space they have. That's a fantastic point. And yeah, I think if you're gonna, especially if it's like a first timer, just to kind of give them the idea of like, okay, this is how the actual formation, how the game sets up. So I'm thrilled that those seats in front of us were open, so you could come up there. That was awesome.
Yeah,
David, have you been up top?
Well, I've sat all over the stadium, Eric. All
I'll
over.
say
it.
you've probably sat in more sections and around the stadium than anybody.
I have not been on the east, the upper part
Lower
of the
bowl?
east.
The
I have
upper
been
part,
on the lower bowl of the east. I've been on the west a couple of times. Obviously the south, and I've sat in the north in the supporter section once. My favorite view is from the Ultra Club, to be honest, because you are up high, but I think you get a different vantage point of seeing plays develop because you're still looking at it head on. It's probably my favorite place to watch football games too. If I were to go to an NFL or a college
End
game,
zone?
in zone up,
Yeah.
because you can see these holes develop, with the blocking schemes and that. I enjoy that a lot. And it was soccer. I think it's kind of the same. Everything seems more three-dimensional, I suppose. I don't know if that makes sense, but I like.
No, that's a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like that view a lot.
It gives depth to the
Yeah.
game. It's so hard. I love the south end. I do. I love sitting on the field level. It's so hard to get an appreciation for the depth,
It is.
especially when the play's on the other end of the field.
Yeah.
And you think that you know how close somebody is and what space is like and where they are in proximity to the goal and to each other. But you can't unless they're right in front of you
Right.
on the south end too. So
Do we?
it was great.
Do
It
we
was good
think?
stuff.
And
I'm really glad.
I missed a little bit of this segment because the internet went out randomly. Eric claims there's
flares.
solar flares. I've read Canadian smoke. I don't know what is going on, but it's not as clear as it usually is out there. So hopefully,
Yeah,
I think
we
the
had-
microphone is probably overwhelmed by your musk. That's my guess.
That's what it. Well, I do collect colognes, as we've discussed on this podcast before. I have several.
Yes.
And yeah,
So
it's
I have
become
two
a hobby of mine.
questions for you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I have answers.
Because
Hopefully,
there's few times that these opportunities come up, and I feel like the listeners are all thinking the same thing here. So I got two questions for you. Do you have certain occasion colognes, as far as like I'm going to
question.
dinner with the wife, so I'm going to go here, or like we're going to run whatever? So that'll be the first question. Do you have certain situations?
Well, yeah, so good question. Let me answer that one before you ask the second, because this could also spark follow-up. I don't necessarily have certain occasion colognes. There are a couple that I would say feel more like evening colognes, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Just
They're sexier.
yeah, something about it, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't mean that I won't throw it on during the daytime, Eric. Doesn't mean that.
So then
We call that a
follow-up
little
question.
afternoon delight.
Yeah, that's
what I would
exactly
name
what we call
scent.
that.
there's certain scents I feel like you got to put on in like a dim room that just match the.
I agree.
the mood, or match.
I agree.
Match the cologne.
Now,
But
well, and
follow-up-
well, to address this first before we go follow up here, my fragrance collection currently is primarily spring and summer scents. Okay, I have a more cold weather, what you would classify as a fall or winter fragrance. I didn't start getting into the fragrance game until spring started, so I'm very new to it. Right? So people say, "Oh, your collection's not that impressive." Look, I've been at it for a month. Give me time, right? We saw this with the shoe game. It stepped up over time as well, but in the early goings, I mean, you just can't have them all. So for me, my fragrances are going to be more in line with what you would expect from a spring or a summer fragrance. I'm talking about coconutty. I'm talking about citrus, right? I'm not necessarily talking about the sweeter vanilla fragrances. We call them fresh and sweet fragrances in the game. You know what I mean? You have to be in the game to really understand it. But for me, I'm right now investing in the fresh fragrances that will get you ready for spring and summertime.
So then the follow-up question is do you ever mix scents, or is it like one?
Eric, that is a great question, right? Great question, because that's popular in the fragrance game. I wouldn't call myself necessarily a bold scent guy, you know? So I haven't gotten into the mixing of the fragrances. But a few of the guys that I follow on TikTok do. They like to do it. And you know what? Maybe one of these days I will. I'll give it a try, but I haven't dabbled in that world yet. But great questions.
I feel like you got to really understand what scents complement each other.
Agreed.
To, like, go that realm, because the last thing you want to do is have conflicting scents. But
Yeah, and I'm not like, look, I am not a sommelier version, like the wine version of a cologne or fragrance guy yet. So I have a hard time understanding all of the notes. I'm learning, of course, I'm learning, but I'm not quite there yet, right? So so it's hard to really understand what would complement one another. My concern, I get a little bit self-conscious when I think I might have sprayed too much. Some of these TikTokers, they go like 50 sprays, all right? Like 50 sprays. I'm like a 3 to 4 guy. 3 to 4 guy. And you know what? I'm kind of, a little nervous or whatever when I go out, and I'm like, Sarah, you got to, and she hates it, by the way. She hates this obsession of mine now. But she hates most of
I
the...
see what you did there, the obsession.
Oh, yeah, yeah. She
really
hates
good.
most of my kicks, though, so I don't, I kind of understand,
she's a
kind of
hater.
expect it. Yeah, she drinks that haterade. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like for me, I 3 to 4 sprays, and I think I'm good.
yeah, I think if I ever wear cologne, that's about where I'm at. But boy, I tell you what else was bold though is, how about Leuven stepping up, everything going on that
Did you
he
see how he
has.
segued into that professionally?
One of the best in the
Did you
business.
see how he did that?
Yeah, I saw it.
I was hoping that we didn't he didn't keep going sweet, because I was like, all right, sweet sense. How can I say that he finished it so sweet? Like I was like, just like I'm stuck in on bold, but like I saw this kind of going around, and like it's something that I think is getting overlooked. But the fact that the dude comes back to back 90 minutes, I mean, everything for him being out is still all speculative, but I think we can all kind of probably make an assumption of what it is. But then for a extra time PK to come up, and that dude, rewatching the replays today, like he just didn't break stride. He kept walking straight to that PK. Like there was no like, I'm taking it. It was, he walked straight to it. Little break. Luckily there was no like extra crazy VRs or anything like that, but dude steps up, buries it, no doubt. Like, I mean, that takes a lot, especially you consider what all's on the line. This team has gone how many games without a win, and they've also given up how many times with the lead to blow it to then lead to a tie. So here's all these situations still there. This guy comes back, plays a phenomenal game, man of the match, team of the match week, like all these things well deserved, but to step up like that, slot at home, we were kind of really noticing it, especially when we were up in 204, like, man, the difference that we've just been missing in free kick taking, whether it's corners or just set pieces, anything, the difference between Leuven and Hartle, not to just downplay Hartle, but it's just, I want Leuven on the ball. I don't care what side the corner's on. I don't know where the ball, I want him on the ball, because the delivery is just night and day. But man, it just felt so good for him to step up, hit that, bury it, and
Yeah,
well deserved for the win.
What a wild year for him, personally and professionally. I mean, you think about everything that we think he's going through, and in that same time, he's had 2 of his biggest signature moments in a City shirt: the free kick against Seattle, and then this game, the assist on the Klaus goal, and then a stoppage time winner. Like, it's wild how things unfold. And he was just ice cold, man. He just put it in the corner. No soft run up. Just get it done.
I hate the song. I'm so happy there was none of that, and he kicked it hard. It was so nice to see.
Yep. And let's give the credit to where it's due for both the ball that got played to Betcher, which the ball was great. The ball was, it's really easy to take that ball and play it towards the middle of the pitch, because that's the more direct route to goal. But to play it into space where he's got an angle to run on and win the ball, and for him to just decide, this is my time, I'm going to win this ball, runs through a tackle, and then not a great first touch, right? Like, I think he would be the first one to tell you, like, I messed that first touch up. But then he recognizes that I get to the keeper and touch this ball around him, and he can do nothing but foul me. And it wasn't a dive. It was a clear foul. It was a clear penalty. And then the emotional release. I love that. God, that was. I wished you guys were down there because he was right in front of where you would where your seats are when
Well,
he
I
got
know,
up and
I
fist
thought that
pumped and
too.
was screaming into the crowd. That was so cool. It was such a cathartic win. It just felt great.
Now,
It had to feel great for them.
Is it sustainable, right? I think that's the question that I'm curious about, and others probably are too. A month from now, are we sitting here talking about the same squad with the same results, the same performances, or are things going to go awry again? Obviously, it's a long season, and a lot of things can happen. But do we feel good right now, moving forward, that this is what the product is going to look like?
If that's your 11, yeah. If you could keep that 11 out there, absolutely. Teutschert, we don't know if that was a cramp or if he actually picked up a real knock, and Klaus left. It was a hot day. Klaus left with what we think was fatigue. Wallem picked up the world's dumbest red card.
Like 2 yellows in like 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, it was. I think they said he might have been the first player in MLS history to pick up 2 yellows that late. But yeah, I don't think there's any. And listen, I don't have delusions of this team being some, MLS Cup contender. But that's a wild card team that played Saturday, man. You just beat San Jose. San Jose was on a great run. They're one of the highest scoring teams in the league, and you kept them to 1 goal. And the goal that they scored, I mean, it was a pinpoint, like, had to be perfect goal for them. Like, perfect cross, perfect touch, excellent finish that left your all-world keeper with no chance. I don't see why not, especially if you get City Park back to being the fortress and you own that place and you start picking up some random points on the road. Yeah, I don't see why it can't. I don't see why, if it can't be a wild card team, why the hell can't they be an entertaining, like, we're going to run your ass for 90 minutes a night, and you're going to remember when you played City. And that's all you can ask for, to me.
The biggest thing that's popping into my head after this win almost feels like a Ted Lasso. Like, I just feel like there's all of a sudden a believe sign that's going to be up in the locker room. Like, there's a lot that we've talked about it all year about how a lot of these guys are it just looks like they're lacking confidence and they're missing these easy chances that would easily have decided a handful of games this year. You come off a win like that, a performance like that, play like that, and like we said at the beginning of the show, I still found a lot wrong within the game that we can still improve upon. There still were goals left on the table, but I really believe a team like this, we saw it all that first year where we weren't expected to win anything, like games, nothing. If we can just start believing in ourselves and we can get the fans back to believing in us, like I'm with Dave. I don't think we're going to be, Western Conference contenders or anything like that, but who knows, man? You catch fire at the right time and you just start picking up pieces here or there, or maybe you offload pieces or, any little additions on to just truly having faith in your team, playing the style that you feel complements them the best, and just having the fans back behind you. Yeah, I mean, this could be a big turn. Now, we both have been there long enough to where we're not delusional, so let's take it week by week still. But this game definitely gave, I think, not only us but the fans a lot more belief going forward. So yeah, I think it could be.
Well, it was a fun product to watch and a great result on Saturday afternoon at City Park. City now improves. They have 3 wins, picked up the 3rd win on the season, 14 points. San Jose with 22 points, still in a playoff spot for them. City still a lot of wood to chop, but certainly trending in the right direction. We will preview the next matchup as they travel out west to Portland. It'll be a Sunday 6 o'clock start, I guess, the Sunday Night Soccer. City seems to be on that a lot this year. We'll preview that on the Thursday episode, as always, as part of our Felix's Pizza Pub South and Submissions and STL Kalachi Match Week preview episode. Eric, it is close to summertime, but never too late to start getting that body tight and rewarding for the summer and the rest of this year. Ready to Live Wellness can get you there.
That's right. Definitely after that Saturday game where you're feeling the lovely weather. I just wanted to be outside all day, and we've been enjoying the lovely weather, so what better time to get yourself back in shape and feeling good out in that weather than checking out Ready to Live Wellness. Whether you're looking to get shredded or swole, they'll get you covered on all your goals that you have going forward. and they'll make sure you're doing it safely and in a proper manner. There's no better way to also make sure you're healthy throughout the summer, and having them alongside you, helping you with those goals, is the best way to do that. And then along with feeling good, you head right upstairs and they got body movement specialists, PTs. It's all under one roof. So all throughout the summer, you can just keep looking good and feeling good. And there's, of course, only one place to go do that. It's Ready to Live Wellness.
That's our title sponsor, Ready to Live Wellness at 1530 South Kings Highway Boulevard. If you are looking to get swole like Eric Cole, you got to check out Ready to Live Wellness. Dave, we got absolutely smashed on our Friday slow pitch softball game. The men's league out of Mascoutah did not go well. I had a nice day at the plate, though. I hit the ball well. Finally barreled. I barreled a couple. It felt good.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to feel it again. We are the best dressed team out at the field because the official swag sponsor of Southland Supporters also happens to be the official uniform provider of my slow pitch softball team, and that is Warrior Logo.
You must have gone to 12 Eats Main Street and visited Chris and the gang at Warrior Logo Wear.
Yeah, we all did it as a team. As a team, we did it.
And they in fact met. Just like the live read says, they met your team sports uniform needs.
They did.
And they
I would
meet
say
all
so.
your needs.
I would say so.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get T-shirts, hats, and hoodies, promo swag, all that good stuff. Chris and his gang are a veteran-owned company, and they bring that same dedication and attention to detail that they did during their service time. They can get you your custom apparel quickly without sacrificing quality at all. With Warrior Logo Wear, bringing your brand to life has never been easier online. They can help you launch a custom web store and handle everything from setup to shipping. They will even help you design your own logo if you can't draw a bath.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That is.
If you can't draw a bath, they will help you with a logo. It's fully customizable online stores where your products feature your logo or that logo they help you design. There are no order minimums. It's the perfect for any size company or event. The store setup is free, no hidden fees, unlike the third-party ticket sites. You know how much we hate hidden costs. They will ship those products directly to you or to your customers. So check them out on Instagram at Warrior Logo Wear. That's all lowercase. At Warrior Logo Wear on Twitter, capital W, capital L, capital W, or at warriorlogowear.com. Brick and mortar, 12 East Main Street, the official swag sponsor of the South End Supporters, the official studio sponsor of this fine program. DH, how's the exit velo?
You know, I didn't have my pocket radar handy, so I'm not for sure.
No, not so much.
It was crushed. There's the one I hit really well was caught by the right fielder.
Okay.
Man, I hit it good.
Your launch angle was off.
It felt good.
Too much.
Correct.
Too much top spin.
Correct.
Yeah, too much
Correct.
top spin.
I didn't, but that one was hit like the highest and deepest of all of them as well. I think I might have gotten under it too much, to be honest with you. The other ones I hit pretty well. A couple of singles, and I don't stretch them out. You know, I got to really burn the right fielder in order to get extra bases. Because
we'll talk to Don Wyckoff about coaching third base.
Not happening. I've learned my lesson there too many times. But I hit it well. It was good because I hadn't been barreling the ball, and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. It's so frustrating to me because like the ball's right there, and I should be able to hit it, but I can't. I make contact with it, just not good. But this was much better, so it was fun.
Yeah.
We just got absolutely destroyed, and the team we played was like the second to last place. So it's like that's how much better they are than us, which is not
deflating.
Great. It is deflating.
Yeah, that's deflating. I have a quick question for Eric about
Had you played slow pitch before?
I have played very minimal slow pitch softball before.
So do you think a lot of it is just you trying to adjust to like a floater being thrown up there? Because didn't you play like an adult baseball league last?
Eric, I played a lot of baseball. Yeah. So,
but it wasn't that long ago though.
Was it? Like 9 years ago. 9 years ago. So it's a combination of things, Eric. One, I've never been great at slow pitch, which is why I've never gotten into it, because I look at some of these guys that can hit the ball a mile, and I don't think they were great athletes, a lot of them. Some of them were, for sure. Some of them, and everybody knows the guy I'm talking about out there, like there's plenty of them that exist in every slow pitch league out there, probably didn't play a lot of sports growing up. And they, for whatever reason, can absolutely mash a softball. And so it always frustrated me because, like, I'm never going to be that guy. And to be honest, I don't want to look like that guy. And it's just the reality. So I never got into it, and then the second reality is that I am so far removed from anything competitive athletically that I haven't put forth any effort into like anything. So going out there and just doing it is it's just hard. And so, but I, I'll figure it out, and I can still play defense. That's fine, and I'm there's no problem with that. I don't run at all, and I have a hard time squaring the ball up. But this week, like 3 barrels, it felt good.
It's a strange sport to barrel the ball consistently if you're not like good at it.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to put it. Like you can hit fastballs all over the park, and then all of a sudden somebody floats you in one, and you pop it up or you roll it over. It's a very it's frustrating.
Yeah, and I just
Well,
want
it's
to
like
try
when
and
you see
kill
a-
it, and I don't. I'm never going to be a guy probably that hits the ball way out. So it's like
and you know what the frustrating thing about softball is too, and maybe this isn't frustrating because this is more of a safety thing, but like you could go up the middle basically every time
I know.
and hit probably about 800.
Trust me, I think about it.
And we don't do it.
Right.
Like that's just one of those things. Like I don't play anymore, but even when I was playing, I would hesitate to even try to go opposite
Same.
field because it's so hard not to roll over on the ball. It's just to let it travel deep enough to be able to flip it into right field that a lot of times you accidentally hitting up the middle. So I think it's,
Dude, they
it's
shifted
fine.
me
It is-
so they shifted me so hard my last at bat. I just pulled 2 of them, and like they brought all sorts of guys on the right side of the field. Left field was, I could have ran forever, even at my pace. And I thought about it, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna hit a line drive back up the middle. It's gonna cause problems.
I have a quick question for Eric about Ready to Live before we move on to news and notes from the Back Post presented to you by EFT. Do they have a means at Ready to Live for me to indulge in a steam after
Dave loves
a
steams.
weekend to where I just treated my body like an absolute dumpster?
So they're actually working on that for like a consistent basis. So to get into a little behind the scenes, that will be coming into the future. But what they do host, it's like once a month, I believe. I think it's every month, maybe a couple times a month, but they call it Fire and Ice, where you do the whole sauna and then you get into the ice bath and then you go back to the sauna. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure if you made a request, you could opt out of the ice barrel.
Out of the
and
ice
just
part? Yeah.
Strictly hang into the fire part. But
Yeah.
that is something that they're currently trying to
I
talk about.
I
adding
felt
in.
like I needed a full detox, like liquid, solid, like full on detox after that day. Not many
I'm not gonna
indulged
lie.
days like that.
Listening to I was with you there, buddy. But like after listening to you guys last week, I started looking up like closet saunas because I was like, well, yeah. I mean, we gotta all have a south end steam. And like,
Yes, it's gonna
Get a
happen.
steam.
It's
get a south end steam. But I
was
just started picturing the YouTube where all you see is like our heads
Yeah,
sticking out of this
course.
like tent. Because I think I know what David's looks like. I can't really picture Wyckoff's unless it's the ones that I was seeing online where it looks like just like a little
It's taller.
closet
His
that
is
you get
taller.
into.
there's a. I'll give
Okay.
you a camera look.
Why
This
aren't
is
you
what it
recording
looks
from there, Dave?
Yeah, man.
like. Because I don't have. Oh, can you see it?
tall.
Kinda see, it's like a.
Yeah, that's what
So
I was seeing online. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want the
So,
equipment to
no,
get wet.
that's-
That's the only problem because it is a wet
That was
That's
the
the
thing I
problem.
was thinking is like
Yeah.
for
That's the problem.
David's it would work perfect because the equipment's outside.
Yeah,
of the steam.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry. I was talking to KVK Sunday, and Eric, you may have been there when we were talking about this, but he's like, I was asking him about content and like what he likes to hear most from the podcast, and he said, you know why I like you guys? He says because you guys have these segments where you get to learn about your personality leading into talking about the soccer. He's like, so many podcasts just go right into the soccer and right to the breakdown. He's like, I feel like you guys tell a story and have a narrative. I feel like I really get to know you guys. This may be too far. We may have officially gone too far, but that's fine. There's no going back at
We're
this
like
point.
VH1 storytellers, and I don't want to be like another podcast that just talks about numbers and statistics and
Well, you don't have to worry about that because
God.
in this episode we've talked about your fragrance collection. People have gotten to look at the steam sauna.
yeah, we'd like to see inside of it.
Friday night
I love-
softball.
I love even like people they'll catch you on stuff that you even forgot you talked about on the podcast a lot of times, and but one that cracked me up was like you posted something I think in the Discord or somewhere, and somebody like responded like, "Did you send this from the sauna steam room or something?" And then they sent like a gif of somebody in the steam
They
room,
did.
and I was like, man, that's like the funniest part to me is when people like remember that type of stuff. Yeah.
That is good. I could talk about saunas and fragrances all day, but we do have news and notes to get to. Dave, Elite FT brings them to us. Please enlighten us.
They do. Elite FT, just like every week, brings you the elite news and notes from the back post. They are located at 101 The Game Drive in Glen Carbon, Illinois, inside the Sports Academy. Elite FT is the premier youth sports training program in the Metro East, and they've been doing it since 2002 with the mission of providing a safe, educational, challenging, and fun environment where coaches can instruct and challenge athletes of all ages, helping them become confident, disciplined, and elite. Good time of year to get the kids into some speed and agility training. I know that's Zoe's going to do some of that to get ready for the fall soccer season because the calendar never ends. It's always some season, but they can train any athlete of any age. They can do specialized programs for kids. The pre-K kids are in Bosco's Buddies, 2nd grade to 8th grade, high school kids, private and team training. They can do it all. Just give them a shout. Tell them what you need. They can hook you up with the right training program for your child. EliteFT.com. Search Elite FT on Twitter and Facebook. All lowercase Elite FT Soccer on Instagram. I'm a client. My kids are clients. Best program around. Couldn't recommend them anymore. So check them out, Elite FT. They bring you the elite news and notes from the back post this week. The biggest news from this week that we didn't report on last week was that on Tuesday at 6:53 p.m., St. Louis City FC announced that they were parting ways with Coach Olaf Milberg and temporarily replacing him with David Critchley, who I don't think he's even got an interim tag yet, right, Eric?
No, I don't think so. No. It was all so weird. I messaged you guys like City's timing with stuff. Like they'll announce, Berkey's broken hand, like, a couple minutes before starting 11s go out on game day and stuff. But this one, 6:53 a.m. or p.m. And the thing that I didn't realize that I think it was like Matt Baker reporter or something. He coached training that day. So
he did the post. He did a presser too.
Did he? Like, man, talk about like. Yeah. Imagine if you're having to do a presser too. I mean, I don't know if he knew then, but like it was just weird. Timing and how it was handled and everything like that. So I don't know.
I think I'd also read that one of his main assistants, they told him before training that his services would no longer be needed. One of the guys that came with him from Sweden. I can't confirm that. I feel like I read that report somewhere, but yeah, it was wild series of events. David Critchley promoted up from the City 2 squad, formerly of Lou Fuse. I think he was like a technical director at the Lou Fuse Academy. A Scouser, which I have mixed feelings on, hoping he's an Everton guy and not a Liverpool guy. That might be make or break for me if he ends up doing a good job. I don't know if I can support a team coached by a Liverpool fan, but that's neither here nor there. But off to a good start, 1-0-0, as they say. Got a +1 goal differential, Dave. I know how you like that.
I love that because the team was struggling in that department, Dave, for most of this year.
But in the Critchley era, they're off to a good start. So the other big piece of news actually came out today. Reports are that former Nuremberg defender Jonas Horn is back in Germany, and reports are saying that when his loan is up on June 30th, he will not be re-signed by the team or maybe looking to leave. It's unconfirmed so far. They're in really early talks. Reports are he does not want to return to Nuremberg. So we'll see. But he was hurt, I want to say 3 weeks ago, and then he hasn't been really in training or in the side since then. So I'm sure we'll know more as things develop what happened, if he's going to stick around. But that spot may soon be open. And, there were some reports that Jabula Blom might be coming back from his loan spell, so you never know. You may swap out one player who you don't play for another player you don't play.
This one was surprising to me to see that one come out. It was Manuel Booth who put that out, and I really thought the connection that you saw him have with just off the field more than anything with Teutsch and Hartl. I think him and Hartle maybe lived together for quite a while until Hartle's family came over. Like, he seemed to have a real tight knit, and he seemed to enjoy St. Louis. I follow him on socials, and he went to a lot of like St. Louis area things. So
Yeah.
I don't know. This one kind of surprised me, especially with his utility. He could play out wide, or he could play more in the center. But maybe this is one where they went to Critch and be like, "Do you have any plans for him? We got to make a decision here." And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it does.
What
Like
is
you
he,
said, it doesn't sound like he wants to go to
27?
Nuremberg, but
27
yeah,
years old, 28 years old. I mean, it feels like Critch is going to play the young guys, and that means throwing Jay Reed out there and letting him grow up, which I am all for, by the way. I really do. I do like Giannis Horn's skill set. I really liked it for that back three, playing that left center backside. I thought he was good with crosses. I didn't think he was great in attack as far as like attacking the sideline and trying to gain the end line. But I think he's a good, solid player, and I do think he would make this team better if he was out there. But if it's down to watching him or trying to watch Jay Reed develop into a truly special player, especially in the MLS, I think I would rather let Jay Reed go through his growing pains.
yeah, and I don't know his full contract situation, so maybe it's more that they want to take on if they have other plans of things that they're looking to bring in.
Yeah.
As far as
Yeah.
maybe it was just one of those types of, we'd love to keep you, but unfortunately you just don't fit in our plan kind of deal.
Yep. So that for this week is really all I had for news and notes from the back post. Eric, did you have anything else that you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, a couple things real quick. You touched on Blom's loan is done with Kaiser Chiefs. He will be coming back to St. Louis City. I still don't see him playing for City again. I think
I
it'll
hope
just
not.
be either try and ship out,
Yeah.
get the contract out, or another loan situation.
I think
don't
he
really
burnt
see
that bridge so bad. I don't think he deserves to ever put on a City shirt again.
So
Like,
that's the other thing is not
yeah.
only did he burn the bridge with like Hack, he also burnt the bridge kind of with the team and everything, the way
Yep.
he kind of acted.
We
and
just
went
lost
out.
the South African community as listeners, Dave. So thank you for that.
You know,
And
they
they
have
are
a
so
very
wrong.
distorted version of talent on the soccer field. They couldn't wait to get him back, and I think what is he featured in like 12 games for that team, and now they can't wait for him to leave again. So,
I know. I don't think he did anything really
Yeah.
with them. We kind of touched on this quickly, but Leuven was in team of the match day. So, I mean, again, well-deserved on that performance. A couple City 2 guys are going to be getting calls up for a little international experience. So go ahead and take a guess on the first one we'll talk about. But Makai Joyner is going to be joining the U19 system. And as we're still doing with these solar flares, it's taking a minute. So sorry about that. He will be joining the U.S. men's U19 camp in Albier, Spain from June 2nd to June 11th, led by head coach Rob Valentino. So, I mean, anytime these guys get international experience, it's great. And as well, Tyson Pierce is going to be called up to the U.S. men's U18 team, and he'll be taking part in the UEFA Friendship Tournament in Nyon, Switzerland from May 28th to June 11th. So anytime we get any sort of city recognition within the U.S. men's national team, I think is a great thing. And these guys have shown so much great talent throughout the years, so well-deserved to them. And the last thing I want to touch on, it's kind of more of a league-wide news that I just find is really funny is, so we were all present for the initial happening, but San Diego has already had to ban 33 fans after an LA Galaxy brawl post-game. This is also following a brawl that happened after the LAFC game. Another instance against the Colorado Rapids, there were unauthorized smoke bombs in the stadium. And then obviously you had the terrible chants that were happening in the home opener when we were there. So far, San Diego is really, are technically at the halfway point of the stadium, but their first year has been wild off the field more than ever. And I saw some of the brawls that were happening with, I believe it was the LAC fans. Like, it's just wild. I still don't get it. I just don't. I mean, it's just, one thing that the MLS always kind of gets is like, compared to like over in Europe and all that, is it's like a family friendly type of league. And then to see this kind of being brought into the league, it's like, man, come on, all of us have brought our kids to the games, and the last thing you want to do is get caught up in two drunk fans trying to start a brawl, and 33 fans already being banned. That's crazy. So, yeah, that's
the league needs to take a hard stand on this. I think we talked about this during the chant. Like, They need to cut it off now. And if this was going on in Europe, they'd be playing games in front of empty stadiums. And I don't think it's crazy for the MLS to hand that down now. That's the only way.
4 instances, man.
The team is not taking it seriously enough. I mean, yes, 33 bans, but the team is clearly not doing enough to mitigate the risk, prevent the risk, eliminate the risk. I don't even know what you would do, but this is the business that they have chosen, and if they can't get it under control, then the MLS is the one that has to protect the product. And if that means playing games in an empty stadium, then so be it. I have no sympathy for a team that can't curb their own fan behavior. And I get it; it's not representative of the majority of the fan base, but it's their responsibility. And it is supposed to be a family game, regardless of whether or not people want to behave like that. Want to behave like, it's a family atmosphere. It is supposed to be a family game. So,
yeah, it's crazy.
Well, news and notes from the back post brought to you by Elite
I had
FT.
one more.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Dave.
I know we're running late.
We are running super late.
Because we've gone way later. Just let me.
We have another
We'll
episode
go way later.
to record.
Yeah, but Eric and I, we've done almost 2-hour episodes.
I'm aware.
UEFA Champions League final was Saturday. The game overlapped with the City game, unfortunately, so we didn't get to watch a whole lot of it, which ended up being kind of not a game really anyway. Paris Saint-Germain defeated Inter Milan 5-0 in the final. They win their first Champions League. Really cool. The story is not the win. The story is not even the run on PSG, which who let the best player in the world go to Madrid and then win their first Champions League, which is just wild to me. The story is their head coach. And if you've not looked this story up, I was listening to Men in Blazers yesterday, a competing podcast of ours, Men in Blazers. And Raj was talking about football is football when it transcends the game. And I thought that was so poignant, so perfectly put. Luis Enrique lost his daughter when she was 9 years old. I think she passed away this year to a really aggressive form of cancer. Mm-hmm. And he won a Champions League when she was 5, I believe. Is that right, Eric? When he was managing Barcelona?
Barcelona, yeah.
Yeah, and she was with him then, and there was this really cool picture of her planting the Barcelona flag when they won the Champions League. These PSG fans put together a tifo of that picture with her planting the PSG flag in a PSG kit and unveiled it after the game. Mm-hmm. And I'm so struck by how beautiful that is. That not only would they go to the trouble of putting that together, but then the team executes that. And, none of us obviously know him or we've been fortunate enough not to have to deal with anything that tragic that directly affects us. But that struck me as such a transcendent moment in sports and only something that only you can find in the sporting world that would unfold that perfectly. So I just wanted to share that with everybody.
That is
because
nice.
This
Good
is
story. Yeah,
a soccer
great.
podcast, but it's also a podcast where we talk about the human condition and emotions and connections. So if we got to run over a little bit, I think that's the perfect.
No, it's a
way
good
to do it.
story. That's a good one. More things like that are what we need as a society, Dave, I would say. So
Absolutely.
Very nice. Eric, where can people find us on socials?
You can find us on all our socials. On Instagram, we're South End Supporters. Our Twitter and our Reddit is _podcast STL. Make sure you're also following us on our Facebook page, as well as checking out our YouTube and like and subscribe to keep up with all things South End Supporters.
I want to say thanks, as always, to our sponsors here on this program. Couldn't do it without them, especially our title sponsor, Ready to Live Wellness at 1530 South Kings Highway Boulevard. Warrior Logo Wear, the official studio sponsor of South End Supporters at 12 East Main Street in Mascoutah, Illinois. STL Kalachi will bring you the match week preview on the Thursday episode. You can find them at 1530 South Kirkwood Road in Sunset Hills, as well as Felix's Pizza Pub, who presents Felix's Pizza Pub South End Submissions every Thursday at 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown. And then also the newest sponsor here on South End Supporters presents to you the news and notes from the back post, brought to you by Elite FT at 101 The Game Drive in Glen Carbon, Illinois, inside of the Sports Academy. For Eric Cole, for the Monday Morning center back, Dave Wyckoff, my name is David Heck. Thank you so much for listening. You have been listening to Southland Supporters. We'll see you next week, and until then, let's go City.